Feels so philosophical. What?
Is it line?
2D object, but is a square a line?
Wait, a line?
Can't you have a fat line though? Because then it would have length and width technically. Connects 2 points. So,
That could be a circle thing too.
but an outline of a circle, well actually if it connects, then it's connecting 1 point. And that would be closed, which would make it a shape. But the shape is made with a line. Okay, have you guys in math class, you've heard like the lines go on for infinity? Okay, that is because they have little arrows. And little arrows mean that they continue. And little dots mean that they stop. That's the line segment. But if you don't have either of those, all this is doing is connecting that point to that point. That's it. That's all it does. And you connect 2 points with wiggly lines, with dashed lines, zigzag, fat lines, curved lines, any sort of line you want. But they all connect 2 points. I'm never one for regurgitating network definitions. I want you to write down something that works for your brain. So I try not to give you that many definitions. Speaking of types of lines, there are certain things that make conversation easier. Descriptions like a horizontal line versus a vertical line. And I'd like you to write down similes for the different lines. So down to perpendicular. Don't do shape. You don't need similes for shape. But just perpendicular through horizontal. A simile. Simile uses like or as. English class. An example would be that a vertical line is like a flagpole. Goes up and down. Or horizontal through perpendicular. You can draw them if you want, but I want a symbol. on to anatomy. Let's think. How can we define shape? Closed. Hearing the word closed a lot, that's a good word. Your next two words are organic and geometric. Let's skip organic. Let me make sense of geometric first. This is a geometric pattern. This is a geometric set of lines. Geometric pattern, image, and shapes. How would you describe geometric? Write it on your paper. I may include things about straight lines. They're made with tools such as rulers and compasses, usually man-made. Easy to find the area of for the shapes. Angular, meaning that they have angles instead of curves. This is an organic pattern. Organic shapes. Organic creations. Think about how organic is different than geometric. I'm trying to come up with some descriptors for organic. My husband describes organic as swirly, free-flowing. They're more commonly found in nature. They tend to be asymmetrical, meaning that they are different on each side. Or irregular. It's one of the reasons why quartz that grow in hexagons and octagons are so rare is because it's a natural form that is geometric. Most organic or natural forms are more sporadic. And if you think about organic, all that organic food people buy, this is more nature shapes, natural shapes. Okay. So on the left we have geometric, on the right we have organic. A circle that was used a compass to make it, still you can find the area of that. It was made with a tool that is a geometric shape, the same way that then this was made with a line and a compass. But these ones that are asymmetrical, so here I have a bunch of little spokey horn things, and over on this side I don't. It's asymmetrical, it's different. When I say pattern, what do you guys think of? Give me a word. What was that? Everything the same? Repeats, that's the word I like. Repetitious or repeats, those are Same thing over and over again. If you want to be fancy, you can say a repeated decorative design, but you don't have to be fancy. Repeat is the main idea there with any pattern. How would you describe that thing? It is a zentangle. Does it have lines? Does it have patterns? Does it have shapes? So it's an artwork that's made with lines, shapes, and patterns? Cool. I will never ask you to regurgitate this. So zentangles are kind of a new age fad. And the big long definition is an easy to learn method of creating beautiful images from repetitive patterns. It is a new art form that is fun and relaxing. It increases focus and creativity while providing artistic satisfaction and an increased sense of personal well-being. Did you get that? So basically it's the idea of instead of sitting and meditating where you think of nothing, that's really hard to do actually, you just sit and draw pretty little patterns. And it's supposed to be calming. It doesn't matter, there's no life and death situation, it's just for you, anything works. It doesn't have to, like you're not drawing a realistic burp where it has to look like the burp. It's just a pattern. So there's no right and wrong. And this probably looks difficult. Does that one look difficult? Kind of? They look really impressive when they're finished. They're not actually all that hard to do as long as you are tidy and work slowly with craftsmanship in mind. They are not difficult. Search. Alright. So, off to the class patterns page. Here's what I want to work. So I have a box. I'm going to try to do this pattern. But if I was to look at this, this looks complicated. But we're going to take it one step at a time. And the first thing I'm going to do is draw a large arc diagonally across the box. Whee! Diagonal arcs. Nice looking arcs there. Note how they get bigger like an alligator mouth. You have your diagonal curves. I'm going to make some little vertical curves that connect the top of one to the bottom. I think this makes it look like a bat wing. I like similes if you haven't noticed. You have the drawing packet. Drawing one instead of art one. That's what I want. Yes. Copy your thing over that. Alright, I'm gonna double these lines up. Just the vertical curves. Yep. This is where it gets a little bit complicated, but it's okay, you'll get it. I'm gonna take this line, and I'm gonna go back until I hit the edge. Horizontal curve. So that one right there. And then I'm gonna go down with a curve. Back, and down, and back, and down, and back, and down, and back, and down, until you get to the end. They're just showing you where to go next.
Do you do it to all of them?
Yep. Alright, so you doubled up. This is where you're gonna go back and down. And back and down. No problem. Ready for the next one? This one starts off with kind of a curved grid. So I'm going to make some horizontal lines and some vertical lines so that I get a series of squares. Blue squares. In one of the corners, I'm going to put little boxes. Remembering that my pattern would continue outside the box. I'm going to roughly fill those little boxes in. My notes, so I'm not too worried about it. This is our learning time. We'll do it really well for craftsmanship on our projects. And the last step, once you get those filled in, is I'm going to take the top corner of the smaller box and connect it to the top left corner of the bigger one. Just draw a little line. The last pattern is the easiest to mess up. Not necessarily the hardest, but the weirdest. So, I have my box, and I'm going to make a row of circles. A second row of circles. Trying to make them equally spaced, both horizontally and vertically. And my circles. I'm going to go from the bottom left of the first one, down the bottom, between them, and around the top of the second. So it makes kind of an S shape, sideways S. Do the same. Start on the bottom left of the second one, Go around the bottom, between, and around the top of the third. You have to remember that this pattern continues off the page. So I'd actually have this go around the bottom until I hit the page. And go back to the first one and go around the top. So all of the first row should have a line, curved line above and below. Do this for realsies, I would make these lines curve around it so they don't cross each other. But you get that with practice. Not a big deal. We're basically going to do the same thing vertically. So I'm going to go from the top left, snake it down and around this one. Try not to cross my lines, just snaking around them. Trying to get these four-legged starfish shapes in the middle. That hard. And when you take it step by step, all of you can do it. And when you have a whole page of all those different patterns, it looks awfully impressive. We're going to do this. We only have 5 minutes left of class, so I'll give you the paper tomorrow. But you're going to get a sheet of paper, and you're going to divide it into sections. Any sort of sections you want. You can have little shark fins. You can, like these shapes. You can make some straight lines, you can make some curved lines, you can put circles in there, anything you want. And each of those shapes is going to be like the squares on your paper. You're going to fill each shape with a different pattern. You can, if you want to go a little above and beyond, there's a person, and this is her hair. A flower and a tree. You can have some where it's more like a ribbon running through, and these ones are big triangles. This one's a little octopus with the kind of shapes coming out of it. Large sections. And we can see geometric patterns like these two, more organic patterns like these ones.
Before 6. Let's just say yeah, leave your house at
This one's really cool. Every time I look at it, I find something different. So there's a bird. There's a dragonfly whose body's an eyeball. There's a person's face down here. This whole thing is a tree branch. There's a butterfly there.